Hi friends, good morning. This is your Adithya. Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to tell you how to write a program to check whether a number is an Armstrong number or not. The requirement of this program is to check whether a number is an Armstrong number or not in Python. First, we need to know the definition of an Armstrong number. An Armstrong number is a number that is equal to the sum of cubes of its digits. For example, 0, 1, 153, 370, 371 and 407 are the Armstrong numbers. Okay, first let's assume that the user has given an Armstrong number. For example, 407. For 407, it prints 407 is an Armstrong number. Okay, now let's assume that the user has given a number which is not an Armstrong number. For example, 470. It prints 470 is not an Armstrong number. Okay, now let's see the code. This is the code. First, let's see what's in the main function. User input equal to input, enter a number. Over here, I'm using the input function to ask the input from the user and storing it in a variable called as user input. Okay, next user input equal to int user input. By default, when we take the input from the input function, it will take the data type as a string. We are changing the data type from a string to a number. Let's assume that the user has given the input ABC. So, it will throw an value error exception. That's when the except block comes into action. The except block will do when a value error exception comes, it will print invalid input. Or else, if the user did not enter a string and enters a number, it will continue the rest program. If user input equal to get cube sum user input, the function get cube sum passes the parameter user input and the num, which is the parameter, will take the value from the argument and store it in a variable called as num. Okay, now result equal to 0. First we created a variable called as result and assigned the value 0 to it. Next, while num greater than 0, it will do what's in this while loop. Okay, now let's see what's in the while loop. L digit equal to int num mod 10. Okay, num mod 10 returns the remainder of num. For example, let's give the number 407 as the num. It will return 7 and the number 7 will be stored in L digit. In the cube variable, we are finding the cube of L digit, which is 7. Next, we are adding the cube value to the variable result. And at last, as we need to find the cube of 4 and 0 also, we are dividing it by 10. Now num's value is 40. So it will execute the loop until the condition is false. After the condition is false, it will return the variable result. We can find whether a number is an Armstrong number by adding the cubes of the digits of a number. For example, 407. 4's cube is 64, 0's cube is 0 and 7's cube is 343. When we add all those three cubes, the cube's value is 407. As 407 is equal to 407, it will print user input, which is 407 is an Armstrong number, or else it will print user input is not an Armstrong number. In another case, which is not an Armstrong number, 503 is not an Armstrong number. We can find that by adding 5's cube plus 0's cube and 3's cube, which is equal to 152. As 503 is not equal to 152, it will print 152 is not an Armstrong number. I use the format function because we can't append an integer data type with a string data type. So, using the format function, we can append an integer data type with a string data type. As you know that functions don't execute on their own, we need to call functions. So we are calling the function main or here at the last line. Okay, now let's see our code in action. First, I'll enter the Armstrong number 407. It printed what we expected. 407 is an Armstrong number. Now, let me enter a number which is not an Armstrong number. For example, 503. It printed 503 is not an Armstrong number. Okay, now let me enter a string. This too came as expected. Invalid input. So our program works. Thank you and please subscribe.